All right, folks, here's my favorite booth at the PMA, and we're with Robert Schueller. Robert, it's so good to see you. And this is Melissa's Specialty Produce. Man, folks, you want to see some good stuff, this is the place.
Oh, well, thank you, Dan. Glad to be a part of you with you today. So let's talk about some of the exciting global produce that is available to us. Some of them are grown halfway around the world. Some of them even grown domestically, even here in California. So let's go over some of the exciting abundance of fruit that's available to us. As you know, right, currently we're in the fall season. And, you know, we saw a lot of the summer fruits drop off. We no longer see our peaches, our nectarines, plums, cherries, variety melons, but there is a spark in the produce department for a lot of these exotic produce. So let's go over a couple of the few newer ones and exciting ones that you'll find in your local produce department during the fall season here. One of the most unusual ones, and we do this promotion for freaky fruits, this particular fruit is called the Buddhist-hand citron. It is a citron variety, so if I cut it open, it's all pith. However, how is it used from a culinary perspective? It is used for its zest. The zest is the most fragrant and flavorful of all zests. So the chefs really like using the zest in baked goods, drinks, desserts, and whatnot. And it's no two Buddhist hand are alike. Every single citrus that grows on a tree is unique in every single way. And
just like people.
Just like people, yes. And traditionally, when we first started carrying this about 15 years ago, it was only distributed into the Asian markets because it's given as a gift for the Chinese New Year, which is always around January and February, to bring you good luck and good fortune. But over the years, the chefs have gotten their hold on these, and they're grown in California, and have used the zest in creating some really spectacular baked goods, desserts, and drinks. Another exotic fruit, this one is actually not domestic, it's imported in from Costa Rica. It's very popular in Central South America, but very popular, this meme sapote. It has a brown skin, kind of like a coconut, but when you cut it open, it cuts kind of like an avocado. You want to wait until it gives to pressure. Right now they're kind of rock hard there. And they soften up like an avocado. Cut it open, bright orange flesh, creamy like an avocado, but super sweet. These are extremely popular in Puerto Rico and Cuba. And if you were in Puerto Rico, Cuba, any time of the day on the street corner, they sell these in a shake. These are what they call mome shakes, and they're absolutely delicious. This is another one of those fruits that are hard to find, but we make it more accessible in more Latin type retailers that are familiar with the mame sapote.
And the nutrients in this is supposed to be outstanding as well.
Yes, vitamin C, vitamin A, just great overall profile. So not only do you get to enjoy it, it's healthy at the same time. Okay, next, let's see here what we're working with here. And then this has been a big trend across the United States is the dragon fruit. Another name for it is pitaya. It is a fruit of a cactus, believe it or not, but very different than your regular cactus pear, or what they call tunas. This fruit is obviously very different than your average fruit. It's definitely a showstopper when you go into your local produce department. This is the most common variety. There's two.
Is this white inside?
This one is red.
Oh, it's red.
Okay, there's two different varieties, and you'll know only from the label because they look all the same.
Right.
There's a white one, and this is the red one, which is purplish red on the inside. These are very mildly sweet. And recently, this is the most common one, but more recently, we've been bringing them in from Israel during this time of the season, the fall time. This is the yellow dragon fruit. It cuts white, and it has a mild flavor profile as well. And this is one of those exciting varieties. Now, there's one other variety, which is we bring in from Ecuador. It is the yellow variety, and it's right over here.
This is supposed to be the star, right?
This is the best of the dragon fruit, because if you've ever had a dragon fruit, it's very mild in flavor, like a very mild kiwi. in flavor. However, the yellow dragon fruit, they brix at like a 23, unlike a regular dragon fruit that brixes at like a 13. So what you're gonna have is a super sweet varieties, and this variety, it wasn't available the last 9 months because of some logistical problems that they had bringing it in from Ecuador. But come December, you're gonna see them in a big way, and a lot of people are gonna be talking about this yellow dragon fruit that's available from Ecuador. Also, what we have here, and this is exciting, mangoes are the #1 fruit in the United States, in the world, but not here in the United States. They're number 13. And this particular variety is grown actually in California. So you have a vine ripened variety that does not have to go through a hot water treatment to be able to be allowed into the country.
And so that does a whole lot for the flavor?
It does a whole lot of flavor because these fruits get to stay on the vine 2 weeks longer.
Nice.
Now this is a green keat. Color is not an indication of ripeness. It grows red on the vine, but you know it's ripe when it turns completely green. And they're grown in the desert area, in the Coachella Valley area, in southern part of California, in the very hot area next to the Salton Sea, where only dates are the only other fruit that thrives in that area. And this is a special treat, these green keat mangoes that are available from August until October. And this is one of the best tasting mangoes experience that you would have, but you better hurry up because they're only available through the end of October.
And we've only seen California mangoes for the past maybe 10 years at the most.
10 years, but there's a lot of education that goes along with these mangoes because people think that the mango needs to be red and yellow and
that's other
orange.
Varieties.
Yeah, those are the varieties.
Red
but they see this green mango and think, oh, it's not ripe, or, you know, so people tend to go for like the Tommy Atkins, which I think is not the most desirable variety because it's not as sweet and it gives you like, there should be like dental floss. Yes, right, it's very stringy and you get it stuck in your teeth. You get what is called mango mouth.
This is very popular amongst Indian culture right here is the teat and the kim. Those two varieties.
Yes, definitely. And of course the Indian mango, but those are only available in the springtime, the Alfonso and the Kesar.
Okay. Now what about this little pineapple? Let's talk about this little pineapple.
That is a full-size,
gorgeous little piece of fruit.
Full-size.
I just want to bite into it like that. You know?
It's a full-size South African baby pineapple, and you think that it should be bigger. No, this is the full-size one. It's a single serving size, and it's very easy compared to a larger pineapple, which you have to share with your family. But if you just want your own pineapple, this is the way to go. You hold it like this, you take the knife off the top. Now the fruit is so sweet, you actually don't have to core it like a regular pineapple, so you just eat it like a lollipop. And that's how you eat a South African baby pineapple, a pineapple you do not have to share with anybody. And they're available year-round.
This is one of my absolute favorite fruits, and you just mentioned that it's one of yours as well. So let's talk to people about the custard apple, or
what is called the cherimoya.
Yes.
And it's a hard fruit to sell because of its appearance, but believe it or not, half the year they're grown in California, and the other half we get them from Chile. We're now in the Chilean season, and they look like a big green grenade. When you cut them open, they have a bright white flesh on the inside with black seeds. It's the fruit, bright white on the inside is what is edible, and I describe it as a tutti frutti flavor. It's probably one of the best tasting fruits you've never eaten before. But let me inspire you. When you go to the store, you're gonna see the cherimoyas probably very bright green and hard as a rock. You bring it home, you set it on your counter, it starts to brown and blacken up, it becomes soft, and the aroma is really strong. That's when you know you have a ripe cherimoya. Also, like an avocado, the button, where the stem is, it would also remove out really easily, and that tells you when the fruit is ripe. When you cut it open, the flavor profile, tutti frutti, for those who don't know that flavor, it's got pineapple, mango, papaya. It has all these flavors going on. It's called the custard apple because it has the custardly flavor to it. But if you dare to go for one of these fruits and try it, I guarantee it's one of the best tasting fruits you've never had.
Yes, it's absolutely one of my favorites, and of course, the softer the better for me. I'm
Definitely.
I'm a ripe fruit eater. I like all my fruit soft, unless it's an apple.
Right.
And cherimoya, oh my gosh! And now, are the seeds in there edible? Can you do something with the seeds, or
no? The seeds, like most seeds, like cherry pits or things, it's not something you want to eat. They're very large and black, about the size of a pumpkin seed. You extract those. If you do eat them, they'll give you a tummy ache, and that's what most seeds do, because there's very few fruit other than like berries and stuff where you can't remove the seeds, like bananas and stuff, that are completely edible, but they're very small. The cherimoyas have very large seeds, so don't eat those.
Okay, Robert, there's some new items here. Now, I don't know how new this one is, but these purple Brussels sprouts are very interesting to me.
Yes, well, there's a natural color for Brussels sprouts. Most people are familiar with the green Brussels sprouts, but in the last year, we started to develop color on your plate. And so this is a way to get kids excited about produce items, and green is always seeming to be that color that kids don't like. Actually, these are slightly purple. I've seen them completely purple, and we're going to be trying to carry these on a year-round basis there. And Brussels sprouts has been one of the more popular ones. I remember back when I was a kid, this was the forbidden vegetable. This was a punishment to eat.
It was, yes.
But because of the way that the chefs are doing them on the menu now and whatnot, and the implementation of the different varieties of the natural color of purple, we now see these purple Brussels sprouts are going to be available on a year-round basis.
If only our parents thought of roasting them and sautéing them rather than boiling them and stewing them and shoving them on our plate, we probably would have liked them. They wouldn't have had a bad rap. This has replaced the green bean as the most popular vegetable on the Thanksgiving plate.
Yes, no, definitely.
Now, okay, so what makes them purple then?
It's a natural color.
Oh, it is.
And it's a variety that we're now bringing because of the natural colors that we see in a lot of the produce items. That's why you're seeing carrots that are not just orange, but different colors like yellow and orange and stuff like that. So this is one of the natural colors, like watermelon. There's yellow, there's orange, which is a crossing between the yellow and the red. So this isn't genetically modified or anything like that. This is one of the natural colors of this vegetable that we're just bringing back into the commercial markets.
So where was this seed located? Where was this Brussels sprout?
I don't know offhand and whatnot, but I mean, if you explore the seed companies that are available to us there, you would be intrigued by all the different varieties and the different colors fruits and vegetables naturally have come, because these are heirloom varieties brought back into the commercial marketplace.
And so you just contract with different farmers to grow the specific items that you're
definitely, and we're known for our fresh Brussels sprouts. We even during the fall time have them on the stock as well.
Oh yeah, yes, we used to sell a lot of those in my store. It's funny you bring up the yellow watermelon. I have a YouTube video about how to cut a watermelon.
Right,
and it's the biggest video on the channel, and I slice open a few different watermelons, and the yellow one, it's an older variety, it's long and it's seeded, and it's grown up north. I cut that open, and the comments that I get from people, oh my gosh, yellow watermelon, that's GMO. What are you trying to push GMO? They don't realize that watermelon was originally yellow in the first place.
Right, exactly. Anyway, so these are just heirloom varieties being brought back into the commercial marketplace.
Sure, lots of varieties.
And just now, getting kids more excited about fruits and vegetables. The color thing has become really big, and I believe the restaurant chefs have done the greatest job of doing that on their plate presentation.
Yes, they certainly have, and that's the whole thing. We get kids excited about fresh produce. They're going to grow up eating it. Maybe we can do something about that obesity problem. They say that it's going to hit millions more by 2030. So hopefully we get kids more interested in fresh fruits and vegetables, and
exactly.
From there, the nutrition naturally follows.
There we go.
What do we got next here, Robert?
Let's talk about some things on convenience and whatnot.
Yeah,
this is a jicama wraps. So the jicama, which is a root vegetable, very popular in Latin cuisine. What they basically did here is they took the jicama and sliced it into tortilla shapes, because the jicama is naturally round, and it's cut into tortillas and they can actually be brought out. So it is a breadless tortilla, but it's pure jicama sliced, and you can use it as a vegan or gluten-free
low carb.
Yeah, low carb, natural way in which to do it. And these are a lot of convenient items, because a lot of the produce nowadays, the convenience is the factor. I mean, we do it with like cactus leaves that are cut and already ready to go.
That is wonderful, the cactus leaves. Now these are chopped up, okay?
The chopped,
we have them whole.
We have them whole as well, depending on your application, what meal in there. And these are all new brand new concepts that you're going to see in produce departments.
All the quills are taken out, or needles, what are they called?
The needles or whatever,
okay.
The spines, because you don't want to,
right.
When you're dealing with them, it's a hard, cactus leaves are a hard thing to deal with, kind of like the cactus pear. And it's not the big spines that you see, because most of the big spines are taken off. It's the little spines you don't see and get into your hand. And with convenience, yeah, 2 or 3 days, they eventually work their way out, but there's that reminder. So a lot of the items that can seem difficult or problematic, we found solutions on how to easily get to them and use and incorporate them into the meal.
Yes. This is a very convenient item. All the work's taken out for you, and now you can enjoy the nopales. What else? We have jackfruit here.
So there's been a trend at jackfruit, which is the largest of all fruits here, to be able to make a single serving size, and now we're going to have a fresh jackfruit pods that are ready to go. Just the fruit. There's many parts of a jackfruit. There's the seeds, which you can cook. There's the fibers, you can put those to the side, and you have to remove the skin and the center core. But we made it one way easier by, you're going to be able to see soon in your local produce departments, just the fresh jackfruit for a single serving size.
Folks, this item is amazing. If you want to see how hard it is to cut a jackfruit, check out the video on this YouTube channel, how to cut a jackfruit. There's a lot of work that goes into it. You have to oil the knife. You have to go through all the pith. If you've ever gotten Gorilla Glue on your hands, you know that won't come off for 3 or 4 days, no matter how much you shower and wash them. That is how sticky the jackfruit is inside. So this item, it makes it so convenient and nice for us to just enjoy fresh jackfruit, to make the pulled pork, or some of the other things that
the vegan pulled pork, which is what made this product so popular, because the fruit is so big and intimidating that they found out, the vegans and vegetarians found out that you can use it as a meat substitute.
Yes, you can.
So you take the fruit, you bring in like some barbecue sauce, you cook it up, warm it up, and you have all of a sudden pulled pork sliders for your party there, and it's all vegetarian. So there you go.
Now, for me, we were talking about ripe fruit earlier. I like the jackfruit when it's brown and falling apart. That's when I like to pull the pods out, because they're more orange and
sweeter.
Super ripe.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't package something like that. It'll never hold up. So if you're going to cut a jackfruit, you want it ripe. But boy, for the pulled pork and for other, it still tastes really good like this.
Yes.
It tastes almost like bubble gum. I mean, it's absolutely delicious. Yeah. What else do we have here, Robert?
Also, we're known for introducing some of interesting produce convenience items. And some of those that include like polenta, which we've done. This variety that we're includes our famous hatch chilies that we do every August, September.
Oh, yeah.
So now you can get the polenta in the produce department with hatch chilies. A sugar sweetener, we've extended our line of agave syrup, which is a natural sugar. And you think agave and you think tequila, right? Because that's the sweetness in tequila. I don't think it's that sweet. But this is a great sweetener that you can use as a sugar substitute that you'll find in your local produce department. It's called agave. This is the Blue Weber variety, and we've extended this season. We've extended the line with chocolate, and we also do a lemongrass ginger as well.
Amazing. Sounds good. Now we're at the Spuds.
Yeah, Melissa's is known for our variety potatoes there. We are the king of, or the queen of, the different varieties that are available to us here in the marketplace. And I'm going to go over some of the most exciting, trending ones that we've been doing here. Our signature item is the Dutch yellow potato, which is this variety right here. Yellow skin on the outside, yellow flesh on the inside, and taste buttery. That is actually an exclusive variety that only Melissa's distributes, as most of our potatoes are distributed and grown in Idaho, and you can always see that on our package there. The cousin to the Dutch yellow potato is this red variety. It's called the Ruby Gold. gold, or the red Dutch. It has a red skin and a yellow interior flesh. The uniqueness of these potatoes is, especially on the fingerlings, because you don't peel the skin of these, it's entirely edible, and it has a shorter cooking time, is that these varieties, if you've ever had them out, baby potatoes on the counter, one thing that happens is if you put them on the counter for a long time with fluorescent lighting or any type of sunlight that comes into your kitchen, the skin will turn green. And once the skin turns green on a baby potato, it's no longer edible. It's kind of toxic.
There's a big problem in my retail store when I had my retail store greening on potatoes.
Yes, the greening on potatoes is a bad thing. However, these varieties that we exclusively distribute never green. So we don't shrink. These items do not shrink in the produce department. That's the cool thing about these. But let's talk about some of the other varieties and the trends that are there. Like, for example, what we have here is a mixture of fingerling potatoes. One of the big trends is the colors that are available to us. We've got the baby purples, the purple Peruvian, the Russian banana, the French, which is the red-skinned one there. And we offer a whole medley of different varieties there as well. Up here we have red creamers, which are very popular here in the United States. Red skin, a lot of people like to make potato salad, kind of a whitish yellow flesh. We've got white creamers as well. The neat thing about them, the creamers are what you call baby potatoes, are varieties that cook faster. The skins are completely edible because a lot of the nutrients are on the skin. But the real big trend here is the color that you'll be able to see of whites, reds, purples, varieties that you'll see in your local marketplace there. So bon appetit. Okay, some of the different varieties of onions. We've got, obviously garlic and whatnot. We have different varieties of onions like boiler onions. The boiler onions come in white, they come in gold, they come in red as well. We're also known for our pearl onions. They too, Thanksgiving here. We even do an assortment. Again, the color becoming a very popular thing in adding color and different flavor profiles. Let me give you the rundown. On whites, golds, and reds, which ones do you pick? Well, America, the most common one is the white, but the white has the least amount of sugar or sweetness to them. So if you like a sweet onion, go for the red ones. If you can't decide between a mild and a sweeter onion, then go for the gold, and that's the standard for the main colors of the different varieties of onions that we have here. Also,
do you ever do torpedo onions? That's what
we do torpedo onions, but they're only available in June, July, and early August. Yeah. And that's they're really big, and they're more of a grilling onion because of the thick density. They are, yeah. You can slice it on it, put it on a salad or whatnot. Amazing. We actually have a variety called Perfect Sweet Onions that we multi-source domestically and internationally to have a sweet onion available on a year-round basis. So you can look for those Perfect Sweet Onions, which are sweet onion. They don't hold up as well as regular onions there, but we have a consistent pack that you will be able to find. So when the menu item recipe calls for sweet onion, these will fit the bill instead of working
perfect,
to spring.
Robert.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so we've got cipollines, and are these peeled cipollines?
Those are peeled cipollini onions. They are the Italian flat onions that are so popular in Italy. And they can really add, you can even make just a soup with them. That's one of the ones that they use as a soup onion because it's so sweet in comparison to your more hard boiling and pearl onions that you do a lot more cooking with. Here it is, whole. It's a smaller flat onion as well. Sometimes you see them a little bit bigger later in the season and whatnot, but like most onions that are grown here domestically, where we get a lot of these out of the volcanic rich soils of Idaho, where you get a lot of the potatoes, they harvest these only during the late summer and fall, and then they're in storage the rest of the year. And that's how onions or potatoes are pretty much done here in the United States. Is that there's one season of picking and the rest go in these large silos that are air treated so they don't spoil, they don't get wet, they don't get a lot of exposure to the sun and whatnot, and they're able to supply a domestic supply on a year-round basis.
Now we've got some elephant garlic, which I like. What I like about this elephant garlic, Robert, is you don't have to buy the whole big giant bulb. You just get a couple of cloves and shallots, but I also saw something over here, and that is peeled shallots, ready to go. for a lot of folks who just
Yeah.
don't want to peel them.
Convenience has been a huge factor, and you've seen that in the line extensions in the produce department. Again, saving the consumer a lot of time, especially those who don't know how to peel a shallot. They're a little tricky and whatnot. So you'll see this. You'll see this in the produce department with the onions as well, saving the consumer 10 to 15 minutes of chopping or cutting. They don't like working with onions and whatnot, and it's pretty much ready to go, especially when you use a lot of onions in your dish there. You don't want to be bogged down cutting and whatnot. So you'll look for these peeled onions. We also do the shallots and also garlic, and that has been very popular and something you've been finding in the produce department for over 10 years now. So these are some of the items. They do need cooking to them. They're basically just skinned for your convenience, where you can just incorporate it into a stew, into a soup, into a casserole or dish, or chop it up and cook it with your next meal.
And if you don't use it all, folks, this should be refrigerated. If you don't use the whole package, put it in the refrigerator. Anytime you cut or peel an onion, you want to refrigerate it.
Yeah, once you get it out of the package, you need to keep them in refrigeration. They're like in a cryovac package, but once you open them up, you have about another week after they're opened when you break the cryovac, and so you can use the onions for the whole week when you're cooking with them.
Robert, thank you so much for being on Getting Fresh with Dan the Produce Man. Here's $1 million bill just for being on the show. Don't spend it all in one place.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Appreciate it. Robert Schueller with Melissa's Specialty Produce. Hey folks, Tom Fraker, corporate chef for Melissa's Specialty Produce. And Tom, what are you making today?
Right here I've got a hatch chili polenta that I'm making creamy style. I'm putting it in the bottom of the dish here, and then I have a vegetarian chili with Melissa's soy riso and Melissa's soy taco, and some of our steamed red beans, little tomato, and it's almost like a little meat pie type dish.
Oh, look at that. That looks fantastic. And this here?
Yeah, right here, it's a sweet potato and apricot bread, almost like a pound cake, and then with the little hatch chili compound butter on top.
Wow, Tom, that's amazing. Thank you.